Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. Labor leader Rebecca White has pledged to save regional health care under an ambitious plan unveiled today. But her budget reply labelled a pamphlet by the government. It's being criticised for a lack of costings.
Stepping up for her budget reply and calling for a step up in healthcare.
There is lack of local services and this just adds pressure on our major hospitals.
Presenting Labor's plan to invest in regional health, boosting buildings and offering incentives to staff to head bush.
We will cover the HECS debt for all 90 nurse practitioners. We will cover the HECS debt for enrolled nurses who want to upskill and work as registered nurses in those facilities.
Some of them are existing state initiatives or Commonwealth Government initiatives as well. There's obviously some ideas in there that are worth looking closer at.
But a full alternative budget nowhere to be seen.
Lots of important concerns, but not a lot of detail about how they'd prioritise some things over others.
Complete with a full caucus press conference and glossy brochure, this was less budget reply and more a pitch to potential voters.
And let's face it, there may be an election sooner than we know, so we are ready to campaign.
I think it read more like an election pamphlet than an alternative budget, definitely.
Despite cheering the government being plunged into minority, the opposition still has its own problems should an election pop up in the near future. It's still in federal administration, yet to announce exactly how it would handle being handballed the Macquarie Point Stadium, and the future of exiled Franklin MP David O'Byrne is yet to be determined.
The support that I have received is a recognition of my hard work, and I just need to continue that.
The government's budget under attack today in question time, amid suggestions of stealth cuts to services and surpluses unlikely to eventuate. The Community Services Minister made a frank admission.
Isn't to say that we met every expectation that Tascos and the community organisations put before us, Mr Speaker, which is why I apologise for not being able to meet every request that they made. Right.
Showing the budget puzzle is harder to piece together than it looks. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A man in his 70s has died in a tractor rollover on the state's northwest. Emergency services were called to the commercial property at Promised Land near Sheffield around 2 this afternoon, but the man was pronounced dead at the scene. WorkSafe is investigating. The RSPCA is calling for puppy farms to be stamped out after a major breeder was charged with breaching animal welfare regulations. Tasmanian Labradoodles has been producing the designer dogs for over 20 years and denies there have been any allegations of cruelty in their business.
It's one of the state's biggest and best known dog breeders.
So for the perfect puppy for your family, you'll love a Tasmanian Labradoodle.
Now Tasmanian Labradoodles is mired in controversy. Business owners Paul and Elizabeth Bartlett have been slapped with 70 charges of overbreeding their animals. In a statement through their lawyer, the pair says there's no suggestion of animal cruelty or mismanagement of their dogs. The news prompting calls from the RSPCA to stamp out puppy farming statewide.
Our regulations are a long way behind the mainland here.
The organisation says shonky breeders are increasingly setting up shop on Tasmanian shores, sheltering from more stringent rules interstate.
Most of the mainland states introduced some form of puppy farming legislation 2019, 2018.
For dog lovers hoping to pick up a new puppy, buying from a dodgy dealer carries risks. Besides a rising number of online puppy scams, the RSPCA says intensively bred dogs can have their own issues.
So you're looking at puppies that are often frail and have inherent health problems.
For dog lover Bridget, it was a no-brainer to adopt, not shop.
He's just been the best boy. He's so good. It's in a whippet's nature to be quite just well behaved.
She got her beloved companion Sirius 10 years ago from the RSPCA.
We just thought it would be nice to give a dog a second chance at having a happy life, really.
And if you're buying a puppy, make sure you do your homework.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do to make sure it's right, but the best test is to meet the people and the animal before you part with any money at all.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
The Federal Circuit and Family Court of Australia says the decision to close their Northwest Registry was due to the appointment of a Supreme Court judge at the Burnie Court complex, taking over their space. Cases will be heard in Launceston on a temporary basis. A court spokesperson says they're working with the Tasmanian Department of Justice to secure a new site on the Northwest. The Law Society of Tasmania has slammed the move, saying it will create additional stress and travel costs to clients, public and private lawyers. Tasmania's government agencies have been given a tick for following up on recommendations made to them. Tasmania's Auditor-General has tabled a follow-up report marking progress from 4 previous reports between 2016 and 2018. They related to park management, government fuel card use and water and sewerage systems.
I'm very happy with the findings. This has probably been the first follow-up report where we've had quite a high level of implementation of the recommendations.
Their attention now turns to the next lot of audits set to be tabled by the end of June. Australians can prepare to pay more for a cigarette, with the federal government raising the price tag on tobacco products. Tasmanians now urged to turn the leaf tomorrow for World No Tobacco Day.
A trolley packed with a week's worth of groceries versus one of cigarettes, each totalling $253. An easy choice for some, but many are still gravitating towards the unhealthy option.
Someone could be spending about $13,000 a year, up to even $16,000 a year on smoking.
Around 70,000 Tasmanians light up on a daily basis. 80% of them want to quit, the hip pocket pain taking its toll.
The financial reasons seem to have overtaken the health reasons, which I think is more of an indication of the times that we're in.
Families are missing out and children are missing out on things financially because they're spending so much money on cigarettes.
The cost only set to worsen after the federal government announced a 15% price hike on tobacco products over the next 3 years, in addition to normal indexation. But breaking the habit is easier said than done.
For so many people, it may be wrapped up in stress or emotion or grief or loneliness.
Talking is proven to be one of the top strategies to overcoming the addiction.
If you're having a wobbly moment, something stressful happens that day, and the first thing you think about is running up to the shops to give us a call, because we're not going to say don't buy them, but what we're going to say is what's happening for you right now.
Tomorrow is World No Tobacco Day, a timely reminder for smokers to give their lungs and bank accounts a break, even if it's just for 24 hours. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
A Launceston basketball player will star on the world stage, heading to France today for the Global Games. 21-year-old Braden Cowell has been selected as part of the Australian Boomerangs, representing athletes living with an intellectual disability.
It feels amazing. I've had a lot of people ask me if I'm excited, and the obvious answer is yes, and I'm just most importantly looking forward to giving 110% of my effort.
The Games will be held over 7 days beginning on June 4. A much-loved regional Tasmanian newspaper is shutting up shop after more than a century. Last month we covered the Northeastern Advertiser's struggle to recruit staff to cover key roles. The paper's editor is due to go on maternity leave within weeks. Its owner is now putting the Advertiser up for sale. The paper will finish operations on July 14. A southern Tasmanian primary school is undergoing a long-awaited facelift to help provide modern and flexible spaces for learning. Construction is well underway at the Springfield Gardens campus in Moona, with students expected to be enjoying the new building by the end of August.
We couldn't do half of what we do or what we intend to do without the upgrade. So pre-COVID our challenge was to include our parents in our assemblies. The hall was too small. We could just get the kids in, let alone the parents.
We need to make a good environment for our teachers. We need to make sure that teaching in our schools is an attractive place to be, because we're going to compete for smart young people to come and join the teaching profession as well.
The project forms part of more than $200 million in capital works being undertaken across Tasmanian schools. Invermay is being featured on the big screen as part of a council program exploring the unique characteristics of Launceston suburbs. Local school students helping create a short film showcasing what makes their slice of the city special.
celebrating the best things about living in Invermay.
We would like to share our beautiful stories about Invermay with you.
Grade 5 and 6 students from Invermay and St Finbarr's primary schools launching their film project called A Bright New Day in Invermay, focusing on what they love about living in the suburb.
It was really cool getting to see all the different people do the film. It was awesome to get to see how it all got put together at the end.
I feel like just showing how good Invermay is and how much people care about Invermay.
The video is part of a program produced through the City of Launceston's ABCDE learning sites, instilling a sense of civic pride in residents.
They talk about how connected their communities are and what they love about their communities. And who knows, in amongst that lot we might have our future movers, shakers and policymakers after watching that film.
The film was created over 3 days in a pop-up studio, with 2 film producers mentoring the students throughout the creation process.
I think we put in lots of hard work and we worked really hard on it.
We did the script writing as well as camera and sound, as well as some of us being interviewed, so speaking on the camera as well.
The students also showing their personalities on the big screen.
If I had a magic wand, I just want inflation to stop existing because it's really annoying for everyone.
The film will be displayed at the Kiwi Mag Auditorium until June 6. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmanian News.
Big man Josh Tomasi has inked a 1-year deal to return to Tasmania for the upcoming NBL season. The 23-year-old has signed on once again as a development player for the Jack Jumpers. He's currently undertaking overseas duties in Malta, but will make the trip to the Apple Isle in the coming months.
Good to just have that continuation of playing, and then that way, when I go into the NBL season, it's just kind of, full attention to Tassie and whatever's asked of me, and just continue to put in the work and get better.
A concussion injury kept him sidelined towards the end of last season, but he's now ready to bounce back into a strong pre-season. It's been another week of competitive action in the Premier League hockey, with the Derwent men's side continuing to prove themselves out on the field. The group is enjoying a winning streak, now sitting in second place following their latest 2-0 success against the Diamondbacks at the weekend.
We've kind of identified it as a pretty important game for us to get 3 points. So we're really happy with how we played, super happy from my perspective with the clean sheet, not only as a coach but as a defender as well.
Meanwhile, in the women's fixture, it appears no one can stop the Diamondbacks' defence, with the ladder leaders keeping Derwent scoreless. There was a rare display of goal kicking in the Old Scholars League over the weekend, with a Tasmanian father and son duo among the 3 players from the university reserves to kick double digits. The impressive scoring saw Lachlan Dare snag a whopping 12 goals, while Harry and Ben Van Cranen took home 10 each.
I've played a long time and I love a goal, no doubt, and obviously the young fellas do as well.
I didn't think I was going to kick past 5, but I'll take 12.
I think it was a bit of a challenge to see him kick the most goals out of us, but we've both finished on 10, so yeah, it's not bad.
The massive effort helped the side shore up a thumping 305-point defeat. And Kim, Tasmania's AFL history buffs say they've never seen 3 players in one team get those statistics.
Quite incredible. Thank you very much there, Grace.
Good evening. Hobart 18 degrees today, Launceston and Devonport 17, Burnie a top of 16, Grove also on a top of 18 degrees today, above average temperatures over the southeast. Bushy Park recorded 17, Friendly Beaches, St Helens and the Bass Strait Islands all 16, Lowhead 15, Strawn 14 degrees. Low-level cloud covered most of the state today, with a layer of higher cover moving in from the west as the afternoon wore on. The southern coastline of the nation with cloud today, along with the areas south of the Bight. Tomorrow, a large low and associated cold front will rip across from Western Australia to south of Tasmania, most of the mainland with the high pressure over top. Winds west-northwesterly reaching 30 to 40 knots over most waters as the swells pick up to as much as 6 metres. So we do have some warnings, a gale warning from Tasman Island around most of the coastline to St Helens Point, a strong wind warning from St Helens Point to Tasman Island along with the inland lakes, and an initial flood watch for the Huon, Lower Derwent and North Esk rivers. Tomorrow shapes up like this: 17 for Hobart with showers, 15 the top for Geeveston, and heavy falls, and Bothwell showery as well, 16 the maximum. Launceston looking for 17 degrees, a windy day with showers, windy for Devonport and showers, 17 as well, windy for Cressy, a top of 16. For The north and northwest, Burnie, showers becoming windy, 16, 15 for Strawn, heavy falls. Very windy for Curry on King Island, 17 the top. And along the east coast, showery. St Helens 17, 18 for Swansea and Orford. Showers easing on Thursday, but it will be a bit colder. Some sunshine over the east on Friday and partly cloudy for most of the rest of Tasmania. And on Saturday, showers back again, but easing in the afternoon. Showers for Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy in Adelaide, a shower or two and 19 in Melbourne, partly cloudy weather in Sydney. Brisbane, a sunny 24. And of course the clouds still about, 13 degrees in Hobart, 13 in Launceston. It's windy in Devonport and 13 degrees. And with this windy weather and also the showery conditions coming up, Kim, they're going to play havoc with your extensions there. And before you get upset, I'm talking about your building renovations.
Oh, gee. Sometimes I just don't follow you to the end. Thank you, Murph. That is all your news for now. Good night.